And it's just not letting them play. It sounds like that. You just make sure they play safe. Can you comment, David, on what you've heard relative to Malcolm's question?
I can try, but maybe I can just reference what we do at the Ivy Business School, and it might resonate with you guys. And Sammy Jo can correct me because her uncle Larry was the dean there many years ago. We use what's called the Socratic method, based on Socrates. It's really a philosophy of not providing answers and information, more so than to ask questions of the participants in the classroom to enhance their understanding of the materials that we're trying to cover. So if you think about from a hockey perspective, you need some sort of structure, or we used to call them systems, but now the cool word is structure around how we want to play the game. That then on a decision making process throughout the game, the players have to make thousands of decisions, and our students we provide them with case studies, which are basically business situations. And as a professor, my job is to facilitate a conversation, ask questions of our students to enhance their learning, but not provide them with the answer. And sometimes they'll walk out of the classroom and go, I don't know what I learned today. But over class after class after class after class, they're developing a much deeper and richer understanding of the topic or subject, and enhancing, more importantly, their decision-making process faced with limited data, ambiguity, different personalities, different situations. And what we're really teaching is decision making. So when you guys talk about hockey IQ and trying to see the game and understand the game and all the gray areas of the game, we do the same thing at Ivy. And it's really difficult sometimes because they'll ask you questions and your immediate reaction is, I want to provide the answer and give them the material and move on. But you really have to take a step back and often ask them a question when they've asked you a question, and then have a discussion. So when I listened to Dominic's recording and talking about how his girls' team had nobody in front of their net in the defensive zone, sure, like he said, the simple thing would be to prescribe to them, that's how we want you to play. The more Socratic method would be, like he did, what are you seeing on the ice? What's going on? And then when someone says, well, we don't have anyone in front of our net in our defensive zone, great. Why do you think that's happening? Well, maybe we're too puck focused. Well, what's causing that, and why is that a problem? And you get them to start answering these questions, then they understand, and they basically start to coach themselves. So I think it aligns completely with everything you guys are talking about. And it's a way I approach coaching when I was in a development situation. Even at St. Mike's, when we had guys that went on to the NHL, we didn't think it was our job to teach them how to play to win today. Our job was to make them better thinkers and better hockey players, so when they move to the next level, those intellectual skills that are required to play at a higher level.
Malcolm, does that make sense relative to the conversations we're having?
I think so, for sure. And I know we're preaching to the choir here because, I'm an advocate for this method. It fits into the work that I've done around preventing serious injury in sport as well, because of the reasons that were mentioned. Allowing a performer to have decision making and driving that competency, I think, creates context for the learner and allows them to make decisions. So your role as a coach becomes a shaper and facilitator, and I think it's very powerful. But I always receive a lot of pushback, and I think maybe it's because I've read that we tend to coach out of models that we were coached in. So 20 to 30 years ago, and that's our comfort level, or those that we are trying to influence, maybe do that. And then I wonder about this idea, like you had mentioned, Wally, about, it's a great method for an expert to utilize, but maybe not so much for a volunteer minor hockey coach. Maybe they need a series of drills that they can pull from an internet site or something to get them started. And then, maybe it's around the U13 level where games and can be utilized more effectively. I don't know. And so that leads me to my next question for the group is,
Hi, Bill.
has anybody tried to completely eliminate the use of drills and only use games?
I have an answer. It's up to the person delivering. Doesn't matter who coaches. I know what I might do. What does Joe coach, volunteer coach? And I don't know if Tracy was able to get on or not, but Tracy's the gentleman that's seeking investors for the good of the game project. What you're saying is, my answer is, it's the right stuff, the right amount, the right time, and as Tim Bothwell said, the right way. And we're figuring it out. And the volunteer coach who doesn't have the expertise we have too much. We'll probably overcoach and interfere, which I've done, and which all of us have tended to do. But it's still necessary. We realize that. Go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, I think I might have some here because I'm in charge of the coaching development for my entire minor hockey association, which is the largest girls hockey association in the world. So I've had the job for 8 weeks, so I haven't revolutionized much yet. But in terms of Malcolm's question,